Welcome back to The Mind, a podcast series by the Ramakrishna Vedanta Centre, New Zealand, a conversation at the meeting point of modern science and the contemplative traditions of yoga and Vedanta. I'm Rama, your host. Last time, Swamiji laid out the four workers of the inner instrument and asked the group to notice which one shows up loudest in their own lives. Today they meet that one head-on, the I maker, Ahaṁkāra. The part of you that takes a passing event and stamps it mine, my success, my failure, my insult, my picnic, ruined. It's the worker that gives your life its personal weight and the one that turns an ordinary day into something that can wound. By the end, you'll have a way to turn the volume of that wound down without having to change a single thing that happens to you. Ahaṁkāra, the formation of I and mine. Let's join them. The same room. A grey afternoon. Kai is slightly late, dropping into his chair with an apology. There's an easy familiarity now.
I asked you to name the worker each time things got difficult, and to notice which one turned up most. So, which was loudest?
For me, it was obvious within a day. Ahaṁkāra. Every time a lesson wobbled, the thought wasn't, what do these kids need? It was, unfailing, they're judging me. It was always about me. A bit embarrassing to see, honestly.
Same here, and it surprised me. I'd assumed I was just a worrier, munners spinning. But when I looked, the worry almost always had a hook in it about me. If she's struggling, I've failed as a mother. It wasn't the worry, it was the ownership.
Mine was a mix. Munners, sure, scattered all the time. But underneath, yeah. Scrolling, comparing myself to people, the inner critic. It's all me, am I enough? So, Ahaṁkāra.
Then today's lesson shows itself. All three of you found the same worker amplifying everything, the I maker. It's the most powerful of the four and, when it overreaches, the source of most of our ordinary suffering. So let's understand it properly. What it does, why we genuinely need it, where it turns toxic, and a very practical way to loosen its grip. Let's start with the word because it's honest about itself. Aham means I. Kara means maker. Ahaṁkāra is the I maker, the part of the inner instrument whose whole job is to manufacture and maintain the sense of I and mine. And it does three specific things. Kai, you mentioned comparing yourself to people online. Let's use that. First job, self-reference. Everything gets organized around a center. I am here, this is happening to me. It keeps a me at the middle of every scene.
Right, even scrolling, there's always a me being measured against what I'm looking at.
Exactly. Second job, appropriation. Claiming things as mine. This is the big one. It takes neutral content and stamps mine on it. A thought becomes my thought. An achievement becomes my success. A stumble becomes my failure. The body becomes my body. The family, my family. James, this is your classroom 1. The lesson wobbles, and Ahaṁkāra stamps it. My failure.
And the moment it's my failure, it stops being information and becomes a wound.
That's the whole mechanism in one sentence, James. And the third job, differentiation, drawing the boundary. This side is me and mine, to be protected. That side is not me, to be ignored, resisted, or competed with. Sarah, give me the everyday example, the picnic.
It's raining versus my picnic is ruined.
Perfect. It's raining is just weather. The instant Ahaṁkāra appropriates it, my picnic, the rain becomes a personal injury. Nothing changed in the sky, everything changed in you. Those three jobs together, center, claim, boundary, build the familiar feeling of being a separate person in a world of others. And here's the thing I want to be very clear about. We need this.
That's a relief to hear, actually, because last week I started to feel a bit guilty about having an ego at all.
Please don't, and this matters. Without a working I, you couldn't take responsibility, keep a promise, hold a relationship, learn from a mistake, or plan tomorrow. A toddler learning to say, I want, and that's mine, isn't showing a spiritual flaw. It's building a necessary structure. The ego is not the enemy. There's even a tender note in the Kashmir tradition here. The ego is not some alien thing that invaded you. It's the same infinite awareness we spoke of, just appearing in a narrowed, identified form. You're not broken for having one. The invitation isn't to hate it, it's to see through it.
So when does it actually become a problem?
One precise moment, Kai. When the functional I quietly becomes the absolute I. When I do this job hardens into I am this job. When I made a mistake hardens into I am a failure. The ego stops being a tool you use and becomes the whole of what you take yourself to be. That's when everything starts getting filtered through self-defense, attachment, fear, pride, shame, endless comparison. Now I want to give you the most useful single idea in this lesson. James, imagine two teachers get the exact same feedback from a head teacher. Same words. Your lesson plans need more structure. Teacher A thinks, I am my teaching, it's who I am. Teacher B thinks, teaching is something I do, not all of who I am. Same sentence. What happens inside each?
Teacher A is devastated. It's an attack on their whole self. Teacher B takes the note, thinks, fair enough, and adjusts.
Same signal. Wildly different suffering. Why? Because Ahaṁkāra isn't just tagging the feedback as mine, it's amplifying it. Think of it as a volume knob on everything tagged me. Turn the knob high and praise becomes inflation, I'm brilliant, and criticism becomes injury, I'm worthless. Turn it low, and the very same praise and criticism arrive as useful information you can actually use, and then set down.
So the comparison stuff online, the reason it stings, it's not really the photos. It's that my volume knob on Am I Enough is turned way up.
That's exactly it, Kai. And it's a genuinely freeing realization. Because here's what follows. You usually can't control what happens to you, but you can lower the gain. You can't stop the head teacher's note, or the perfect photos, or your daughter's hard day. But the same event, received with a lower self-referential volume, produces far less suffering. Working on the volume is often far more effective than trying to rearrange the world.
That reframes so much. I've spent years trying to arrange life so nothing hurts my kids. And maybe some of the work is helping them turn the volume down, so the hurt that does come doesn't become I am unlovable.
That is one of the kindest things a parent can teach, Sarah. Not nothing will ever hurt you. That's a promise no one can keep. But when it hurts, it doesn't get to define you. That's lowering the gain. And notice it works on the good side too. A child whose whole worth rides on a gold star is just as captured as one crushed by a poor mark. High volume in both directions.
Can I name something that's bugged me? You hear ego and you picture an arrogant guy who thinks he's amazing. But honestly, my problem is the opposite. I think I'm not enough. That's not really ego, is it?
It's one of the most important questions in this whole lesson, Kai, and the answer surprises almost everyone. I am worthless is exactly as much ego as I am superior. They're the same machine running on different fuel. Both are Ahaṁkāra, obsessively tagging everything with me and cranking the volume. The grandiose ego shouts, I'm the best. The timid ego whispers, I'm the worst. But both have the same thing at the center, a self-image, defended absolutely, with the volume way up.
Huh. So self-criticism isn't humility, it's the ego pointed inward.
Beautifully put. And it's why genuine humility feels so light, while self-criticism feels so heavy and self-absorbed. The problem was never the size of the ego, it's the absoluteness of the identification. A quiet, proportionate I is healthy at any size. An absolute I suffers whether it's inflated or crushed.
You said earlier that Ahaṁkāra can distort the other workers too. I've felt that, but how does it actually work?
It leans on them, James. Remember, the inner instrument is one connected system. When Ahaṁkāra is loud, it bends the others. It bends manas, your attention. In a 10-minute conversation full of praise, you'll somehow hear and replay the one critical sentence. Ahaṁkāra steered your attention to the self-relevant bit.
Oh, I do that constantly. My husband says 9 kind things and 1 careless one, and guess which one I'm still chewing on at midnight?
Everyone does, Sarah. It's the eye-maker biasing attention toward threat. It also bends buddhi, your interpreter. An ambiguous text message gets read as, "What did I do wrong?" rather than, "What's actually going on here?" And most stubbornly, it bends chitta, your memory, into a story. I'm always the one left out. I always have to be the strong one. Nothing ever works for me. Once that story sets, every new event gets filed under it, and the story comes true by selection.
That's the unsettling one. The story basically recruits evidence for itself.
It does, which is why just knowing better often isn't enough to change it. James, you've surely had a student who you can prove did well, who simply cannot take it in.
All the time. You got an A. Yeah, but I got lucky. It was an easy paper. You're just being nice. Nothing lands.
That's Ahaṁkāra's last defense. It filters out anything that contradicts the self-image, even good news, even truth. The fortress doesn't only keep out attacks, it keeps out help. This is why insight alone rarely heals. The defenses themselves have to soften, and they soften not by force, but by being gently, repeatedly seen. Which brings us to the practice.
And I assume the science has its own version of all this?
It does, and it's converging fast. Researchers increasingly describe the self not as a fixed thing you have, but as a process the brain continually builds, a self-model, updated by the body, memory, and especially social feedback. They find that a threat to your identity lights up the system much like a threat to your body, which is why being contradicted can feel like being attacked. And, importantly, clinical psychology sees ego trouble in both directions, Kai. Not just arrogance, but fragile self-esteem, shame, relentless self-monitoring, collapse. Same machine, different failure. 2 roads, the lab and the meditation seat, arriving at one place. The everyday I is something assembled, useful, and not the final truth of you. This week, one practice in 2 parts. Part 1. Catch the stamp. When something stings, look for the exact word Ahaṁkāra stamped on it. My failure, my fault, about me. Just spot the stamp. Part 2. Find the volume knob. Ask gently, how loud is this turned up, and does it need to be? You're not arguing with the feeling, you're just noticing the gain and letting it ease. Sarah, when your husband's one careless comment is still echoing at midnight, catch it. Ahaṁkāra has stamped this, about me, and turned it up. Then set it beside the 9 kind things your attention skipped. Not to scold yourself, just to turn the volume back to true.
Catch the stamp, find the knob, restore the other 9. I genuinely need that one.
James, With a student who can't take in good news, name it kindly to yourself. Their Ahaṁkāra is filtering this out. It's not stubbornness. It's a defended self-image. Then offer the praise as plain fact, lightly. No pressure to accept it. And when your own lesson wobbles, catch the stamp, my failure, and turn it down to, that lesson needed work. One is a wound, the other is just useful.
Separate the wobble from my worth. Yes.
And Kai, the scrolling. Next time the comparison bites, don't fight the feeling and don't moralize. Just locate the knob. The "Am I enough" volume is high right now. Watch it, breathe, and let it settle a notch. You don't have to win the argument with the feeling. You just turn it down.
Find the knob, not the argument. That's the first version of this that actually feels doable.
Then you have the heart of it. Tell me next time what you each found turning the volume up, because what raises the gain is usually an old pattern stored in memory. And memory is where we're headed soon. But first, next time, we go upstream of all this. Before the ego even gets hold of an experience, something has to notice it and pass it along. That restless first contact worker is manas, and it's the subject of our next conversation.
And that's the eye maker, the worker that stamps experience mine and turns the volume up so the very same event can wound you or simply inform you. You usually can't change what happens, but you can lower the gain. Next time, we go upstream of it all to manas, the restless processing mind, and why so much difficulty begins simply in scattered attention. And to go deeper, the full lesson 2.3 is available in the course Beginners, Conversations on the Mind in the Light of Modern and Spiritual Sciences on the Ramakrishna Vedanta Center's website, www.vedanta.nz. It is also available as an app on Google Play and the Apple App Store by searching for Vedanta NZ. Until then, be gentle with your mind.